Well, many, many years ago, I did not know what a perm was. Now, this is my hair. This is how it grows naturally. It puffs out. It grows this way. I didn't know what a perm was. People kept asking me, "Where did you get your hair?" I didn't know what they were talking about. I took a lucky guess and decided they might be asking about the genetics behind it. I knew a bit about my genetics, so I knew that I had ancestors who had curly hair. There you go. Because I didn't know what a perm was. So yeah, for me, it was a matter of genetics. I had no idea. People were asking me, they weren't asking, "Where did you get your hair?" They were asking me, "Where did you get your perm done?" Yeah, because they thought it was a perm. It wasn't, and I had no idea. And so there was this huge miscommunication. And so, yeah, I would give a short talk about the genetics of my ancestry. That's where my hair comes from. Not realizing that, no, they weren't asking about the genetics. They were asking who my hairdresser was. Who did my perm? Now, I've never had a perm in my life. Again, this is just how it grows. This is my hair. Doing what my hair does. Yeah. So, yeah. When they asked me, "Where'd you get your hair?" and meant, "Where did you get your perm done? Who's your hairdresser that did your perm?" And me, having never had a perm in my life and not knowing anything about hairdressers, yeah, I made an honest mistake and assumed that they were asking about the genetics and couldn't understand why they were laughing. What was so funny? I didn't understand it. Eventually, I just said, "Fuck off." People would ask, "Where'd you get your hair?" And I would just say, "Fuck off. Go away." Because, yeah, I just found it very, very deeply offensive and insulting that these people would laugh at my ancestry. Because I didn't realize they were asking where I got my perm, who the hairdresser was that did my perm. And not knowing that that was what they were talking about, and assuming that they were asking about the genetics, because I was interested in genetics, and not realizing that genetics is a very niche topic that most people don't give a shit about. Yeah. Yeah. So eventually I just started responding with "fuck off" to people who asked about my hair. Now, my hair still continues to grow the way it has always grown. It still curls at the ends. I've never had a perm. And yeah, this is just how my hair grows. It grows this way. But that's the thing. If you're not clear about what you're asking, people make mistakes. They don't know what you're talking about, so you need to give all the clues. When you ask, "Where did you get your hair?" you need to specify, "Where did you get your hair done?" Not "Where did you get your hair?" You need to be more specific. Being specific is very important. Making yourself clearly understood is very important. And yeah, politicians, especially conservative politicians, hate making themselves clearly understood because that requires honesty. And I give the qualification, including conservatives, because there are a lot of liberals who do the same damn thing. Now, there are even socialists who do that. But religious fundamentalists do that, not just Christians, but also Muslims and Jews. Use non-specifics. They're deliberately vague because they want you to not quite understand what they're coming from. They want you to be a little confused because, well, yeah, that's how religious fundamentalism works. You prey upon people who are confused. And you do this by confusing them, by being non-specific, by being deliberately vague, by cultivating uncertainty. Yeah. So religious and political figures do this all the time. They're deliberately vague. They deliberately forget to say certain things that, if they did say it, you'd know what they were talking about. But they leave the part out that you need in order to actually understand them. They leave that part out. And that's deliberate. That's very deliberate. That's intentional. That's what they do, unfortunately. Yeah. And very often it's because they're not really talking to you. If you're online, they're not talking to you. They're talking to the other like-minded people who might be watching the chat taking place on the message board. They're leaving out words and very often using memes instead of words. Yeah, using memes to represent whole paragraphs of words. Because that's the inside joke. They use the inside joke because they don't want you to understand what they're talking about. You're the outsider. So by using the inside joke, they're reiterating your state of exclusion. So, yeah, internet trolls, religious fundamentalists, and career politicians, as well as lawyers, use the same tactic, leaving out important details that make it make sense. Because heaven forbid that you're actually clearly understood. That just will not do. Being clearly understood is the bane of the dishonest. Yeah.